Silk, I'm Jayme. I just wanted to send a quick video to go along with the brand components document that we've also emailed, just to give you guys a little bit of context around the Vespa brand and all of the information inside the packet. So just a quick introduction. Again, my name is Jayme. My husband Doug and I did a branding exercise with the Scooterwest team a few months back, and we really explored what Scooterwest means as a brand within its competitive set. And we also talked about how Vespa as an iconic brand really has a lot of influence over who Scooterwest is and where they want to be in the future and how they'd like to position themselves to their customers. So on that note, kind of transitioning into talking about our roles in this project. I know you guys are a great web dev team. We have so much confidence in all of the skills and abilities and talent that reside within your company. And since we, my husband and I, are really web consultants, our role is to kind of bridge that tech and branding gap, because Alex and Monica and everyone else at Scooterwest are all really knowledgeable experts within the scootering world. And so we're here to help kind of navigate the whole website development process and make sure that all of the brand attributes and customers' expectations are fulfilled in the new website. Okay, so just to talk a little bit about Vespa and how important it is as an iconic brand. So Vespa's a lot different than other brands and other industries. People who own Vespa scooters, or really scooters in general, are incredibly passionate about this hobby, I suppose. It's more than just owning a different kind of mode of transportation. It's something that defines who they are. They have a lot of pride of ownership and enthusiasm around being a scooter owner. So during this discovery call tomorrow, since Doug and I won't be able to join the call, it would be great for you guys to cover the differences between vintage and modern Vespa scooters, as well as the difference between vintage and modern Vespa scooter owners, because there are a lot of characteristics and values and very definitive character traits that separate the two. And there's, like I said, a lot of pride of ownership that happens there. So the Vespa brand, if you don't really know anything about it, it'd be great for your team to kind of do a little bit of digging and research and look into the history and what they stand for, because their brand truly transcends just the products and services that they sell. So from a very high level, Vespa sells scooters, and they've been doing so since the 1930s. But what they really sell is this carefree, whimsical, spirited lifestyle. For many Vespa or scooter owners, owning their scooter and going out and using it is a part of who they are. It defines something about their character that they're really proud of, and it embodies something bigger than just a two-wheeled scooter. It's definitely not a moped, so please don't call it that. And in the new website, it's really important that those characteristics and those values shine through, because Vespa is a brand that inspired Scooterwest and Vespa Motorsport. Alex and Monica and many of the other longtime employees have loved Vespa scooters much longer than they've worked there. It's the reason why they're there. They're incredibly knowledgeable and very passionate about this brand and what they do, and it's important to them to share this knowledge and expertise and just excitement about it with other people. With their existing customer base, there is a expectation of knowledge and experience and technical know-how. They've built up a following on YouTube with their tech videos where they take apart scooters or show how to service certain things or showcase different kinds of parts and accessories. And they've established themselves as leaders within the scootering community as being innovative and having that kind of knowledge. And so as they look to expand and grow their customer base, they really want that to be something that sets them apart from others. So within the scootering industry, Scooterwest and Vespa Motorsport have really built a reputation on their technical knowledge and expertise and experience. On social media, they have hundreds of videos where they give some instruction or education on how to either take apart or rebuild or fix various problems on different kinds of scooters, vintage and modern, a whole bunch of different models. They also feature their own proprietary modifications that their in-house tech robot has invented himself, some lighting kits that are very unique, that solve actual problems that existing products on the market don't solve for the everyday rider. And that's also something that's really important to shine through in their website. So their existing customer base are not novices by any stretch of the imagination. They've been riding for many, many years. They own multiple scooters, and so they expect a certain level of service and expertise and polish to come through with that web experience. And while that hasn't been happening in their current website to date or just in recent years, it's something that they've continued to be able to push through with their phone sales and customer service. And so even though their site hasn't been able to communicate that, that one-on-one service quality has been able to have them shine through and carry them through. Now moving into a new website and trying to acquire new customers and grow their customer base, positioning them as a brand who knows what they're doing, and knows what they're doing because they too are equally as passionate about Vespa and about the scooter's lifestyle, is really, really important. So in this brand packet, it first starts off with talking about the history of the Vespa brand at a very high level, mostly from kind of a pop culture point of view. So it starts with 1953 when the Vespa was featured in Roman Holiday. If you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend it. It's actually one of my favorite movies and one of the reasons why I was kind of interested in Vespa and found it whimsical and romantic and carefree and adventurous. And so that was really when these scooters were put onto the main stage, the international main stage, and seen by a lot of people. Shortly after that, in the 1960s in the UK, the Vespa was really adopted by the mod culture. They were looked at as being unique and individuals, and customizing their scooters was their kind of badge of honor and a way for them to express themselves. The first section of the packet talks about the history of Vespa at a very high level, mostly from a pop culture point of view. It starts with 1953, when Vespa was featured in the movie Roman Holiday with Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck. The Vespa itself was almost a character in the movie. It was kind of an icon for romance, a symbol for romance, and something whimsical and carefree and just fun, really. I mean, this came at a time after World War II where people were looking for hope and positivity and happiness, and that movie and Vespa along with it really embodied that and carried it throughout. So that was its first introduction on an international main stage, especially on such a popular film. Then moving into the 1960s, and this is something that Alex can really speak to a lot since it's a passion of his and he's extremely knowledgeable about this era and the role that Vespa played in the 1960s mod era, so definitely ask him about that. He can shed some light into it. As far as the market positioning with Vespa, it is the junior company, not junior company, but a subsidiary of Piaggio. So if BMW is the parent company, that's like Piaggio, and Mini Cooper is their subsidiary, Vespa is that subsidiary of Piaggio. Piaggio has its own scooters. They have their own line of products that are different than what Vespa has to offer, but they still embody the same characteristics of craftsmanship and high quality. They're Italian, and so there's also that element of style and design, and timeless design is very important to them. So, as I mentioned, the Vespa brand itself is more than its products and services. It is truly a reflection of a specific ideal. It's something that is a dream almost. It's very aspirational, maybe not in price, but just in fulfilling that kind of everyday life. evokes feelings of adventure and style and simplicity. That's also something that's very important to the brand. Every piece and design element in its form and function has a purpose. And there is a bit of this classic romance feeling. They had a campaign, or I'm not sure if it's their tagline, but La Dolce Vita, which means the sweet life. And that's really that aspirational lifestyle that they're trying to evoke. And if you look at their advertising over time, they definitely leverage celebrities, especially fashion icons. So right now they have a scooter designed by Giorgio Armani. They have a lot of movie stars who will be featured, riding a Vespa scooter, whether in a movie or in their ad campaign. And so they're synonymous with this level of urbane sophistication, at least in Europe. And while it could be slightly different here in the States, there still is that distinction. It's a recognizable mark and brand, and it's something that when people see someone riding a Vespa scooter, it's something to remark upon. It's still something really cool that hasn't gone out of style. Okay, and so going on to the next section of the brand components, hopefully now when you kind of understand the relationship and the impact and influence that the Vespa brand plays onto Scooterwest and what they're doing, this section will make a lot more sense. Because when we look at the brand attributes that Vespa holds and how those are really felt and resonated throughout their customers, and Alex and Monica and Doug and myself, we are included in those customers. We are also avid fans of this brand. And so that level of passion is what translates into the Scooterwest brand. It's something that kind of flows through and should flow throughout the website. The next section is an overview of the brand components, and so really it's just kind of like a table of contents. So the subsequent pages will move through all of the points on this page, from the brand promise all the way through to the key products and services and tagline. Okay, so getting to the products and services that Scooterwest offers, here you'll see that the modern services offered and the vintage scooter services offered are separated. And that's been done so mindfully. While many customers do own both modern and vintage scooters, the customer types and their characteristics and their expectations and perceptions, they are different slightly. And this is definitely something, again, that both Alex and Monica can speak to. Maybe Monica, especially since she owns a vintage scooter. She's owned one for a very long time, and so she can really give you some insight into that kind of customer and the experience and the standard of experience that they expect. Next, it takes us into the buyer persona section. So while we were doing the whole brand platform exercise, we started to craft 4 distinct buyer personas that we wanted to test via customer survey at the end of the brand exercise. So here in this section, you'll see the defining characteristics of each persona that we hypothesized exists, and we're able to validate that do exist in their actual existing customer base. So to give you a little bit of insight into that actual survey, how we conducted it, we sent out a survey invitation to the entire Scooterwest customer email database and had just about 500 respondents. When we checked to make sure what an actual adequate sample size was for the Scooterwest customer base, the number of people in that base, it turned out to be a statistically significant sample. So we feel really good about the insights that we were able to draw out of that survey and have it be an accurate reflection of their existing customers. So the first one is the gearhead. So this is somebody who is very, very knowledgeable with actually getting in there and fixing and doing maintenance on their scooter, but maybe they're not able to get parts since there aren't very many retailers, either online or brick and mortar, that have the kind of access to the parts for both vintage and modern scooters that Scooterwest does. So that's kind of what they built their foundational brand on outside of San Diego, across the US, and even internationally, as being a source for hard to get parts. And so that's what the first persona kind of speaks to. The second one in here is the modern scooterist. I would say that my husband and I fall into this persona. Our knowledge and our technical knowledge and capability is low to moderate. For someone like me, it's nothing, basically. For someone like my husband, I'd say it's pretty moderate. He can, do some things on his own and fix some things, and he knows what he wants to change and has a general idea of the parts that are involved if it has to do with the outside of the scooter. If you get in under the hood, so to speak, things get a bit more complex. And so the modern scooterist is someone who was inspired by the vintage look and feel and all those ideals and characteristics that we've just spoke about. And this is the biggest area of opportunity for growth, because even though Vespa's been around for a very long time, because the brand is so alluring, young people, we're in our 30s, but people younger are getting interested and intrigued and hooked into this kind of lifestyle. So this is a huge area of opportunity for Scooterwest. The next one we're calling the Vespa Romantics. So their level of expertise is moderate or low as far as technical goes. I think a good example of a Vespa Romantic is my husband and I went on a trip with the Scooterwest team down to Mexico. It was a 450-mile round trip, and there were a couple of families where it was a husband, a wife, and maybe their son, who was maybe 16 or 17, and they were all riding Vespas together. They all had, the branded gear, and their bikes were pristine and just top of the line. And these are people who want that carefree, adventurous spirit to be a part of their life on some level. So those are Vespa Romantics, and usually these people own more than one scooter. And then there is the daily commuter. So their kind of technical knowledge is also probably about modern to low, or moderate to low. They see their scooter as not only something stylish but really convenient. It's a convenient mode of transportation, especially in urban settings. Gas is not very expensive. You can park it anywhere. It's their daily commuting vehicle, and that's something that my husband actually did for a while, and he used his Vespa as his primary mode of transportation. And if you talk to a lot of the guys that work at Scooterwest, they do the same thing. So it's convenient as well as fun. So the last two sections speak to the proposed new brand mark, as well as the thematic colors that we're proposing are featured on the website. So the existing Scooterwest logo really is more of a graphic. It's quite detailed, and the word Scooterwest is just kind of hidden at the top of that coat of arms above the scooter motorist guy that's kind of featured in the center. And so when my husband Doug wanted to revamp and update their brand mark, he really truly wanted it to be a brand mark, something that could be clearly printed and easily distinguishable from at any size, if it was really large or really small, and by still maintaining that kind of coat of arms look, along with having the word Scooterwest as their brand name being a lot more prominent. He thought that it would be a great tie-in to kind of being featured on a scarf or a banner, and harkening back to that mod 60s movement that really inspired and captured Alex's imagination and interest. Also, the brand colors that are featured in this packet are actual colors pulled from vintage and modern Vespa colors, and so that lends a little added authenticity to the color scheme, and it's something that people will recognize and hopefully notice and appreciate on the site. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information. I hope that it answered some of the questions and starts to connect some of the dots as you're going through the packet, to give you an understanding of where Alex and Monica and the rest of their team are coming from when they have examples or expectations for site functionality and features. Hopefully it would also give a little bit of insight into the user experience and the things that are important to feature and call out as far as expertise and passion and enthusiasm. I know that it's going to be a great discovery call. We can't wait to see the summary recap and hear what you guys covered. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to Alex, Monica, or myself, and we'll make sure to get you some answers. So we look forward to working with you guys again soon. Bye!